everyone, this is Bonnie from Backward Story, and wow, I'm kind of overwhelmed right now looking at the haul I'm about to film. Are you guys overwhelmed too? This is a lot of stuff, and the first pile is mostly book boxes from September and October. Some of the September stuff came late, so it's technically September, but it's showing up now. Same thing with purchased books in the second pile. Some of it was late arrival from September. Other stuff is October. And then the next two piles are things I was sent for review, and the two skinny books in the middle are things that I traded for. And then I have some swag and a comic in the front. So this is going to be a long video. I'm just going to go through it really fast. I'm not going to put any ebooks into the mix, even though I got a lot for review that were fantastic. I've read a couple already. I'll talk about them in the next video for what I read. I'm going to stop talking now because that's just adding time. Let's get started. The first thing I have is V.E. Schwab's Shades of Magic, which is now a comic book series for 4 issues. At least 4 issues. Who knows? Maybe they'll do more if it's popular enough, which we're all talking about how much we love it. So maybe they'll do more. This is the first of 4 issues. It is the Steel Prince. This is my cover. There were 4 different covers you could collect. This is the one that I got at my local comic shop, and the next issue comes out in November, and then December, and then January, and then I think in April there's going to be a graphic novel bind-up that has all of the issues in it. This is the first issue. And since we're talking about V.E. Schwab and A Darker Shade of Magic, here are 3 key charms that I did a trade for. And I'll show you the books in a moment, but these were from San Diego Comic-Con, I believe. Tor was giving them out, and I thought they were so cute when I saw them on Instagram, and I had entered to win, and I didn't win, and then I saw them in a trade list, and I got really excited. And then these were the 2 books that were part of the trade, and they were add-ons just because we happened to be talking, and this book just has the most gorgeous cover. I did not realize that Megan Shepherd had a middle grade book. This is The Secret Horses of Briar Hill, and it just came out in October from Random House Delacorte Press. Look at this cover. It's so pretty, and I was really excited when I heard that it existed, and so this was thrown in, as was The Tomb, which was a book that she was reading right then, and she was saying really good things about it. This is by S.A. Bodine, who wrote The Compound, and I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of either of these. Of course, I've heard of Megan Shepherd. I really liked The Madman's Daughter, and as you'll see in a minute, I have 2 copies of her brand new teen book, Grim Lovelies, so I knew her, I just didn't know this book. And then this, I also know of the author. I've never read the author. She was saying the best things about this book, and it reminded me of a book I read when I was younger called Violet Eyes. I forget the author's name, but it kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, oh, I want to check that out. So she very kindly included both of these in our trade, as well as the key charms that I was so excited about. So thank you so much for the trade, and I hope you love your book as much as I hope I love mine. This was a pre-order gift from Penguin Teen and Marie Lu for pre-ordering WILDCARD, which is the sequel to Warcross, which was my favorite book of last year. Here are the pins. Player, Hunter, Hacker, Pawn. Every locked door has a key. If you want to rebel, rebel from inside the system, and darkness has a queen. This letter to the reader and a thank you for the pre-order. And on the back, shows WILDCARD, and then the second Life After Legend exclusive short story, and we got one last year as well for pre-ordering Warcross, so I have 1 and 2. And you'll see this again in a little bit. This is Watch Us Rise. It is a novel coming out from Bloomsbury, and Bloomsbury kindly sent me this little notebook along with the ARC, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, let's start with these purchases. I kind of grouped them by theme here. And then I got rid of the theme when I realized I needed an extra pile. So it's a mix now. We have Jennifer Estep's Kill the Queen. This is the first book in the Crown of Shards series. This is an adult fantasy series, and I have read both her teen and her adult book. She has an urban fantasy series that is about an elemental assassin named Spider, and she also has a series for teens that takes place at a mythological boarding school. So this is her new series. It sounded fantastic. I cannot wait to read this. Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmett, Stephen Levinson, Ben Pasek, and Justin Paul. And this is a novelization of the musical, plus it goes a little deeper, and it tells you things that you don't know watching the show. It also has more from Connor's perspective, and we know very little of Connor if we only know the musical. This is a book that I read read the arc of, and I was very, very lucky to go to an author event at the Philadelphia Library. And Val Emmett, Ben Pasek, and Justin Paul were there, and they signed the book for us. So it was a great event, and I still need to post about the event itself because a lot of stuff happened in my life right after the signing, and I'm only just starting to catch my breath. But it was a great event. This is a great book, and I did review it, so I will try to remember to post a link below. I did a video on these yesterday, so I'm not going to talk much about them now, but these are Disney princess books. They're from Amy Mebberson, who does all of the Pocket Princess comic strips online. You may have seen her web comics over the years. Each one starts off with her artist sketchbook. And this is probably my favorite page so far. I don't know why, but I just can't get to sleep. Maybe some light reading will help. And then she's reading, and now what? She's got books everywhere, and she still didn't get to sleep because she was up late reading, and I think we can all relate to that. And if you're watching this before November 3rd, you can get these buy two, get the third free this week at Target, and there's more information in yesterday's video, but all kids' books, video games, board games, and DVDs are buy two, get the third free, mix and match at Target. So these are $10 each. I really couldn't justify spending $50 on these when they first came out, but with the sale, they wound up being $30 for 5, and that was a little more manageable for me. So if you like Amy Mebberson, if you like Pocket Princesses, definitely check this out. And even if you're just a Disney fan, it's a great deal right now. This is the Shelf Love Crate exclusive edition of Grim Lovelies with the gold foil edging. It is by Megan Shepherd. I told you we were going to come back to her. I decided to keep it in the bag because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep or sell this. I feel like I'm probably going to sell this, and that way it's in pristine condition. The Owl Crate exclusive Pride by Ibi Zoboi, which I already read, and it is a fantastic modern-day reinterpretation of Pride and Prejudice. The second book in my Owl Crate for October was Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This is also an exclusive cover, and it's signed. And this is a book I've been really excited to read, and it uses Japanese mythology and folklore, and I cannot wait to dive in. Strange Grace by Tessa Gradden. This is the September Enchanted book box, which arrived in October. And I don't know too much about this book, but it looks like a creepy fall read. Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. This is the Fox and Wit edition with exclusive red stained pages, and it's gorgeous. And I have not had time to read this, and I'm so sad. I want to reread Vicious because it's been so many years, and then I want to read Vengeful, and I am so excited that this is out. And then I have something new from V.E. Schwab to read. This is LitJoy's September box, which I received late because I purchased it after seeing an unboxing. It is For a Muse of Fire, and it is by Heidi Heilig, and this is the way their exclusive cover looks when you turn it inside out, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and so I wanted to have it that way on my shelf because how beautiful is that? I couldn't resist seeing it all the time. And this is also LitJoy. This is October's box, and this is Grim Lovelies, and it also has one of those covers you can flip inside out. And again, I don't know which version I'm keeping, if I am keeping this one or this one. At the moment, I'm leaning towards this one just because the Heidi Heilig book looks so gorgeous inside out like this, and I kind of want to keep doing that, so we'll see. I don't know. I definitely don't need 2 copies, so we're going to see what's going to happen. I purchased a signed copy of Broken Things by Lauren Oliver from Barnes & Noble. And you guys, I don't even have the books that I purchased from a library sale because I'm doing an blind unboxing in a bag. And this video is already so long, I'm just not including them. Same thing for last month when I didn't include that dollar store haul, and then I never got around to posting a video about it, so maybe at some point I'll do that. We'll see. Crown of Thunder by Tochi Onyebuchi. This is the sequel to Beasts Made of Night, which was last year's debut. And I am once again obsessed with the cover, and I love how every time you look at it, you see more things, and there's just so much to see every time you look at it, just like Beasts Made of Night. Sorrow, Fierce, and Falling by Jessica Cluess. I'm a little behind on the series. I read the first book, A Shadow Bright and Burning, when it first came out, and it reminded me in some ways of Tamora Pierce, who I love, and then I didn't have time last year to read Poison, Dark, and Drowning, so I do want to reread the first one, and then read the second one, and then read this final book, and be all caught up. Another September book that arrived in October, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. His debut novel. There is his signature, and you've got a Henkelfish there, which is fantastic. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive book club edition, so it's got discussion questions at the back. Sisters of the Winter Wood by Rena Rosner. This is a book that came out in September, and for whatever reason, my local Barnes & Noble didn't have it for like 3 weeks, and so I didn't get it until October. And I actually read this as a galley. If you like books like Uprooted by Naomi Novik or The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, you're really going to love the Sisters of the Winter Wood, which has a refrain of the lore from the Goblin Market in it. This next book is one I think we all bought this month, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Final book in the Throne of Glass series. I went with the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. You've got the signature here, and you have this gorgeous Charlie Bowater art. It's beautiful. I still haven't had time to read it. I was going to reread the whole series in October, and then I went on a contemporary binge, which you'll see in my next video, and I wound up not reading the series at all. So I'm so deathly afraid right now that I'm going to be spoiled on this book, so we'll see how that goes. Ooh, check this out. There are like little flecks of blood all over the cover. I didn't see that when I was looking at the image online when they did the cover reveal. That's kind of badass, don't you think? Okay, we're at the bottom of the purchased pile, and they are all books that I pre-ordered from the United Kingdom and from Book Depository, so these are all UK covers because I liked them better than the US editions. Wondersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow. It is the second Nevermore book by Jessica Townsend, and this just came yesterday or the day before, so it's like brand new, and what I love about it, well, those are your end papers, but what I love about it is when you take the jacket off, this series is the most gorgeous thing. In fact, this is not part of my haul, but I have it down here because I wanted to take pictures later so you can see it. The covers are just so gorgeous, and I had to import both of them because that is just too beautiful. So I did get Wondersmith as one of my October hauls from the UK. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, which has red stained pages if you purchased it as a first edition. And I do have the UK hardcover for the first book, Strange to the Dreamer, which does not have the blue stained pages like I thought that it did. So I guess I just missed out on the first printing, which is really sad. I'm really bummed about that. I actually didn't read Strange to the Dreamer when it came out because I heard that the cliffhangers were horrible, and I decided to wait until Muse of Nightmare came out and then read them both together. So that is on my list to read by the end of the year. WILDCARD by Marie Lu. When you take the jacket off, it is this awesome rainbow, and then pure green on the back. And it was purple, blue, and pink, I think, for Warcross when you took the jacket off. So they look great together. Circe by Madeline Miller. This is a book that I have been looking at and debating if I wanted to buy the US or the UK edition since it came out. And just the UK edition is so pretty. And when you take the jacket off, it is absolutely stunning. And it was worth it to me to buy this edition because it was so beautiful. And your map on the end papers and this border. And it is just a gorgeous edition of a book. The only thing I was bummed about is that because I didn't pre-order it, now that the book has been so popular, it has a sticker on it. So I have to figure out how to get the sticker off, because as you'll see when I get to one of my Simon & Schuster books, I have trouble taking stickers off of books and not leaving the residue behind, and they're always really sticky and tacky. And so even using the tips and tricks I know, I do want to get this off and have it still look immaculate. So if you have any tricks, leave them below. And my last purchased book from the Book Depository was The Black Khan, and I'm going to butcher her name, but Osama Karnat Khan, and the cover is gorgeous. I really love the UK cover. This is another one where I have the first book right next to me, the blood print, and they're just beautiful, and I prefer them to the US covers just because I really like how they look. Now we have all the books for review. Wednesday Books sent a finished copy of Wind Rider by P.C. Cass. This is the third book in the series that began with Moonchosen and continued with Sun Warrior, and I did recently receive the second book, Sun Warrior, in paperback, so I just don't have the first book so that I can read it. So I have 2 and 3 in this series at the moment, but thank you to Wednesday Books for this copy. I was sent a review copy of Dear Evan Hansen from Little Brown, so I have 2 copies of this now as well. Next, we have Transcription by Kate Atkinson, which is out now, and that came from Little Brown as well. Oh, I didn't try to take the sticker off yet. This is Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman, and this was sent to me by Simon & Schuster for review, and I was lucky enough to meet the author recently. I don't know if you can see that, But you got some etching in the cover. But I was very, very excited to meet Neil Schusterman. I've met him before on tour, and he was just as nice as always. And I was really excited to talk to him about this because I've already read this book. And it is definitely a world where I would never want to be in a world without water and to go through what these people have gone through. But this is something that I still have to get around to reviewing, so I'll talk more about that soon. Okay, the rest of this hardcover pile is all from Disney, so I'm not going to tell you the publisher each time. We have The Seven Torments of Amy and Craig, which is by Don Zaloidis, and this is recommended if you enjoy Eleanor and Park. This one is Words We Don't Say. It's by K.G. Riley, and it is about a teenage boy who loses his best friend and his navigation through the new school year. Part of Your World by Liz Braswell. This is a twisted tale retelling of The Little Mermaid, where Ursula wins and is Queen of the Humans, and Ariel is Queen of the Mermaids. And I talked about all these books in a video earlier this week for the next couple coming up, so I'm not going to talk about them again here for these next 5. Hocus Pocus and the all-new sequel, and this is a perfect Halloween read, and I hope you guys had a great Halloween yesterday, I guess 2 days ago by the time you're watching this video, and this is definitely one that is going to be something that you read every year for Halloween, just like you watch the movie. The Darkest Legacy by Alexandra Bracken. This is the 4th book in the Darkest Mind series, and it takes place 5 years later, and this book was so good, and I want more in the world. I'm still not done with it, and it had my favorite kissing scene in a YA book this year, and definitely go pick it up if you haven't done so yet. Willow of the Wood by Robert Beatty. This is one of my top 5 books of the year. It is my favorite middle grade of the year, and it is so pretty in person. I love how the hardcover looks. This is a book that I really, really want to win the Newbery or get a Newbery honor in January. So I'm rooting for it. Pick it up. I hope you will be too. Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, 9 from the 9 Worlds. This is short stories that take place in the world of Magnus Chase. And I'm very excited to pick it up and dive in. And this just came out a couple weeks ago. Another copy of Part of Your World. Long story there. This is something else I will maybe do a giveaway coming up for it, so keep an eye out. Love Like Sky by Leslie C. Youngblood. I started reading this but haven't finished yet. This comes out November 6th and it is middle grade. And she's at that tween year where she is 11, I think, and she's not a kid and she's not a teen and she's that in-between stage. And something bad happens to her sister and her family has to learn how to adapt, and it sounds like it's going to be a really sad read. Disney also sent 2 copies of Sanity and TALLULAH by Molly Brooks, one in hardcover and one in paperback. So I am going to do a design video just on this because it's so cute. And I did review the book and it's really fun and I do want to talk about more. If you are in a STEM classroom, this is fantastic. It's about a girl who's a scientist and she manages to clone a cat, and it takes place on a space station, and it is a fantastic book to get into the hands of girls, plus it is a graphic novel. The last book from Disney is Have You Heard About Lady Bard? Poems About First Ladies. This also comes out in November, and it is poetry, but also teaching you about the First Ladies and the amazing things they've done. So this is one that I can't wait to explore further, and I will definitely be doing a video for it in the near future. And now we have galleys for books not out yet. Free Fall by Jessica Barry. This is from HarperCollins and is coming out in January, and it sounds like a thriller. And it has a really interesting cover, and I love how it goes sideways like this. And this is from the adult line of HarperCollins, not the teen line. The Disasters by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. This is coming out in February from Wednesday Books. And it is a new series from the authors of House of Night, and it is a mother-daughter team. And I've actually never read anything by PC Cast or Kristen Cast before. So now I have 2 series between this and the other one where they sent me 2 and 3. So now I have 2 things to read from them. Amber and Dusk by Lyra Celine. This book comes out this month and it is from Scholastic, November 27th, so later in the month. But I'm very excited to read this, and the cover is really pretty. I can't wait to see how the final copy looks. It kind of looks like it might be embossed. Snow and Love, 4 stories from Melissa de la Cruz, Nick Stone, Amy Friedman, and Casey West. And I'm so excited for this. This just came out at the end of October. I'm kind of saving it to read a little closer to the holidays because, until Halloween is over, it doesn't feel like I should be reading Christmas stuff yet. So I'm very excited about this. I have read all 4 of these authors before. Nick Stone wrote Dear Martin. Melissa de la Cruz has written several things, including the Alex and Eliza books and the Descendants books and her vampires. She's got tons and tons of books. Casey West is a contemporary author that I love. I've read everything she's written. Amy Friedman wrote this book I love called Sea Change, and it's got this magical realism in it, and it was really good, and I always wished there would be a sequel to it, although it was recently turned into a Lifetime movie. So I'm really excited to read all 4 of these stories because I've read all 4 of these authors before and love them all. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the first in a new series. It is sci-fi, and the cover is by Charlie Bowater, who you saw a few minutes ago when I unwrapped the Kingdom of Ash book by Sarah J. Maas. She's done a lot of fan art for Sarah J. Maas over the years and is a fan favorite, so it's awesome to see that she's getting her own cover. She also did Lullaby by L.R.W. Lee's cover earlier this year, and I really like it when she does covers. And it's Brandon Sanderson, and he wrote Mistborn and the Stormlight Archives, and so I'm really excited to read this book, even though sci-fi is not normally my thing. Watch Us Rise, which was put together by Renee Watson and Ellen Hagen. This is the book that goes with the cute little notebook I showed you earlier. It comes out in February, and I think it is going to be a really big deal. I think this is going to be one we're all talking about, so I'm excited to read it. Bloomsbury also sent The Restless Girls by Jessie Burden with illustrations by Angela Barrett, and I've been so excited to see this. It is a feminist retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. It's going to have color artwork in it, and I cannot wait to see what the final copy looks like. There's one of our final images. I'm very excited to take a look at this one. And this is Jessie Burden's first kids book. She previously did The Miniaturist, and she has written novels for adults. And the rest of my galleys are off from Macmillan Fierce Reads. They were in a box for the upcoming winter season, so thank you so much. We have Beware the Night by Jessica Fleck, which comes out in March, and this one has a beautiful cover, and it was the one I was the most excited about in the entire box. The Birds and the Bees and You and Me by Olivia Heinbach, and this one is a January release, and it is from the Swoon Reads line, and it has a really cute cover. Kiss Number 8, this is by Colleen A.F. Venable and Ellen T. Crenshaw, and it is from First Second, so it is a graphic novel, and that sounds really cute as well. Also a March release. Plus, look at her nails on the cover. As you can tell, I love good nail art, especially on the cover of books. The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ancrum. This is another March release, and it is sci-fi. Unleaving by Melissa Ostrom, which is a book that is entirely new to me. This one comes out in March as well. Fear of Missing Out. This is by Kate McGovern, and it comes out in March as well. And finally, Fake Plastic Girl by Zara Lisbon, which comes out in March as well. So thank you so much to Macmillan and Fierce Reads for all of these. I'm more excited about some of them than the others, which is usually the case when they just send you a box of their titles. You always get to choose which of the packages you're most interested in and then rank them. And there's always like 1 or 2 books from each box that I'm really excited about, and then some that I don't know if I'll read or not. So it's always a mixed bag, but this box was my first choice because I thought it had the most books I would read in it individually, and I didn't want to get a box that had 1 book I would read in it, even though I really wanted the book, So this is everything I purchased or was sent for review this month. It is a lot. I am definitely, once again, feeling overwhelmed, even more so this. I always feel overwhelmed around this time of year because there's so much coming out for the next season, and September and October have 2 of the biggest months in terms of book releases, so I wind up buying more than I do most of the year. It's like April, May, September, and October are the biggest book buying months for me. So I definitely need help prioritizing. I've read some of this stuff, thankfully, so in that sense it's not overwhelming. But let me know which books you think that I should read. Let me know which ones are your favorite. Which ones are you going to read too? Maybe we can read them together and have kind of a little book club going on online. Link me to your hauls. I can't wait to see what everyone else got this month. Thank you for sticking around for this very long video, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye!